here we are at the end of day 2, and we've got everything torn out. We've still got some electrical. You can see we've capped all the water, got things cleaned out. I loved all the comments from everybody. I really appreciate. I was going to try and go through and say thanks to everybody, but I started looking at all the comments, and there's been so many good ones. I appreciate everybody who commented. Lots of great advice, great products, some that I was familiar with, some that I wasn't familiar with. I appreciate all the insight. A few of you reached out personally and some great ideas, really great ideas. Thank you. This is what I love about this platform, is the ability to connect and to almost have a meeting of the minds with people from all over the world, and where I couldn't bring you here to the job site and sit you down and have you look at it, but I can show it to you and I can get your input and I can get your experience. And I just want to say thank you very much for all of those that chipped in and have been helpful in the last little bit. Some great ideas, and thank you for jumping on it and sharing what you have. And so please, as we go along, keep sharing. If you see something, if you got an idea, this project in particular, there's so many different ways to do things. I definitely want to get as much input as possible. What we've kind of, based on your input and looking at things, now that we've got the whole bathroom torn out, we're able to look at the exterior wall, we can see that it is so rotten and so bad. And it wasn't just the tub leaking on the inside, but it was the moisture, snow on the outside, rain on the outside, whatever, that was soaking through. There was no pressure treated lumber. There was no vapor barrier, nothing. It's just been sitting out there rotting since whenever they built this house. So we're going to replace this entire wall. It is a bearing wall, so we'll come inside a little ways. We'll build a temporary wall, and then we'll go ahead and remove that wall, reframe it with pressure treated lumber, with seal, and we'll have to look at, there's a deck out back. We're going to have to disconnect the deck temporarily, build a new wall, put on the new siding, and then reattach that deck to this new wall, which is going to be a lot more structurally sound than this spongy, soft, rotting wood that we've got right now. So things are coming along. I think that what we've decided is that we'll take it a wall at a time. We'll go through it, we'll check it out, and as we pull it out, we might find more dry rot, we might find more mold. I really haven't seen any mold. What I've seen is damaged wood that was wet, wood that has since dried out, and it's done it year after year. It's gotten wet in the wintertime, it's dried out in the summertime. It's gotten wet in the wintertime, dried out in the summertime. It's just coming apart. So we'll look for that. We got been dealing with some plumbing issues. We had to cut the water to the house today in order to disconnect the plumbing. We had some live water lines. There was some issues. On this particular property, it's the water meter. This house it's got a water meter in front of it. It's got city water. And then right after the meter, they had a regulator, and the regulator was turned down. So we put a gauge inside the house, and then we were able to see where pressure was at, and it was really, really low. So that's a concern, because in the new design, we'd like to do dual shower heads. And so getting the right amount of pressure so that if you get in the shower and you turn on both shower heads or the body massage in the shower, that you've got enough volume and pressure to not have just a trickle coming out of each of those shower heads. So if anybody's got some insight on possibly boosting our PSI, or we may look at having to replace that regulator. On the other hand, it could be that the city's water pressure is what it is. And right now we've got about, it seems like when I turned I turned up the regulator as high as it would go, opened it up, and I'm getting about 49 PSI. And if I open the kitchen sink, it comes down about 4 or 5 pounds per square inch, and then I turn it off and it goes back up. So we're running somewhere between 45 and 50 pounds per square inch, and I was really hoping for 60 or possibly more. 70 would have been great, but we're not getting it. The other problem is I've got copper lines throughout the house, and it's not a dedicated line for everything. It's just a branch system where there's a trunk line and then it just breaks off. And so I've got 3/4 running most places, and then I've got 1/2-inch pipes running a lot of places, which is really restricting the volume of water that we're getting. So I'd love to hear from you guys some ideas on making sure that we've got enough volume of water and enough pressure on the water to do multiple heads in the shower. So put your comments down below.